Welcome back to another episode of Box and Elbows. I'm your host, Tyler Allen, and today we're going to be talking some hot takes. I have some juicy hot takes for next season and beyond. I'm going to get into some NBA news and talk about some teams that had pretty underwhelming off seasons. I mean, a lot of teams had really good off seasons, and then there are teams that we were looking, towards having some big moves and, changing things on their roster and they just didn't. And then we're going to get into some NBA trivia. And this time I'm going to actually do the NBA trivia. I know last time I had an NBA trivia game lined up to do, and then I ended up not doing it because I mostly ran out of time because I don't want these episodes to go 2 hours or longer than that. And so we're going to get into some trivia and we're actually going to do it this time. And hopefully we get 100% because I came close a couple of times doing these trivia games and I just never got, 100%. So we're going to do that. And we're going to talk everything basketball in between. And let's start off by congratulating Kyle Lowry on retirement. As you guys may or may not know, Kyle Lowry signed a one-day contract with the Raptors and he ended up retiring with the Raptors, which is his franchise. He is probably not probably. He is the greatest Raptor of all time. That is kind of undisputed at this point. He's been there for or not 9 seasons. He's 10 seasons, and he's second in points. He's overall. He's fourth in rebounds, which is crazy because he's a guard, and the Raptors have had a lot of good bigs. He's first in assists, first in steals, and 18th in blocks and first in three-pointers made. In the playoffs, he's first in almost every category except blocks. Actually, he is first in every single category except blocks. And yeah, he's just one of those point guards that's going to, get it done on offense and defense. Um, and he's beloved by Raptors fans. He had a really good career, has a championship with the Raptors. And yeah, I mean, he's one of those guys you really just can't hate. He competes on both ends of the floor, like I said. And I mean, there's not much you can really say about him that's negative. I mean, he takes charges. He said in a interview about him retiring what is his like favorite like stat that he's like proud of, and he said charges. And it's kind of funny because he even referenced like the charge he took in the All Star game, and it ended up being against Kawhi Leonard, which is really funny. I think that was actually a year or two after Kawhi left the Raptors, and they were joking about it and whatnot. And in his retirement ceremony, he had Kawhi, or Kawhi was invited, and he actually came, which is Kyle Lowry was surprised that Kawhi would show up. But yeah, they had a really good relationship on the court and even off the court, I bet too. And so it's not surprising. And I really thought that either he would retire, maybe not as a damn bugs. I thought he would retire, just finish the year with the Raptors, like just the whole year. But one day contract is cool too. I also thought he might have retired with the Sixers because they actually have a like decent roster now, like with Jalen Brown and Joel Embiid. But I guess Kyle Lowry didn't want to take the chance and really didn't want to spend another year sitting on the bench. And I think he will be a coach soon. He's one of those high IQ point guards that, will get into your head, but mentally because he knows the game and he knows how to play like angles and things like that. And yeah, when he was with the Raptors, he was like, there was like 1 or 2 years where he was just really, really good. And people, especially Raptors fans, labeled him as a playoff choker. And most of that is not his fault because he just ran into LeBron every single year. And so the year when they won the championship, every round when it seemed like the Raptors would be down and out. I know in the first round they lost game one to the Magic, and it was like, here we go again. Kyle Lowry put up another stinker. Then in round two, they were down 2-1 against Philly, and it was like, here we go again. Kyle Lowry didn't have a good game, and they ended up winning that series in seven on a Kawhi shot that was just insane. One of the greatest shots in playoff history for sure, up there with OG's tipping. Um, and even the conference finals, they were down 2-0 to Milwaukee, and it literally looked like the Raptors were dead in water. Like, you didn't see them winning four of the next, 5 games, and they ended up winning four in a row, which is unheard of. And then even in the finals, he was doubted because he was going up against Steph Curry, and it was like that guard matchup was just way too in favor of Steph Curry. And in Game Six, Kyle Lowry went ballistic, and he ended up, winning the Raptors their first championship. And like, I just went through that whole playoff run. Every single series they had down moments, and he was doubted, and he ended up pulling through. And he's like one of those just point guards that you can really just appreciate in the game. Like, shout out to Kyle Lowry, man. Speaking of point guards and in the league, wanting to return to the league, Kyle Lowry is leaving the league, and apparently Ben Simmons wants to rejoin the league. Which, first of all, out of all teams he listed, the Philadelphia 76ers, are you fucking kidding me? After what you put the fans through and that fan base and that whole organization through, and you want to come back? Hell to the fucking no. If they if they accept Ben Simmons back, I it better, like, I don't know. Like, if the Knicks, if Porzingis pulled shit like that, and like Knicks fans would just be booing Porzingis every time like he stepped foot into an arena. Like, Ben Simmons should just not even like think about returning, especially to the 76ers. I mean, he's just washed. I mean, he's still good at basketball, don't get me wrong. Like, he'll be better than still a lot of NBA players, but the league is just outgrown a player like Ben Simmons where he can't shoot. He won't even attempt to like go to the basket anymore because he's scared to shoot free throws. And you even see, like, even today he's still blaming players like Matisse Thybulle for not, making free throws and whatnot. And he's not taking accountability for his own actions. And then the other team he wanted to return to was the Heat, and that's just disgusting. I mean, just in terms of fit, like, yes, they technically do need a pass first point guard because Davion Mitchell is great, but him as your starting point guard is kind of questionable. I mean, we know he's gonna play. Davion Mitchell's really good, so him starting at point guard is not the issue. It's that he doesn't really have the point guard like responsibilities that other guards do, and Ben Simmons definitely does. But you're talking about spacing with Giannis and Bam, and then Ben Simmons. It's gonna get super duper clunky, and I could only see Ben Simmons playing about like 10 minutes a game when Giannis gets his like 5 minute break, or Bam gets his 5 minute break. But and then he said he likes Heat culture, which is really rich considering he is the softest player I've ever seen. Like, the Heat do not build soft players. They don't. They have a culture of like building tough players who get the best treatment, the best care. They treat their players right. And from an outside looking in perspective, yes, Ben Simmons, it does look like he would need a culture like that. But at the same time, the way he left the league is not the way the Heat would want to welcome a player back into the league. Especially when their goals are to win a championship, since they got Giannis, and their window is, you know, it's like right now. And so Ben Simmons wouldn't really help you right now. And yeah, I just don't understand it. Like, he literally picked the two worst teams as far as fit and like optics wise. Like, I don't understand it. Like, I saw that report and I was like, you see Ben Simmons on Instagram and social media and whatnot, and he's fishing and he's doing all this cool stuff. And in the back of your mind, at least in the back of my mind, I'm like, damn, this guy was really good at basketball at one point, and he's just now like living the life outside of basketball. And it's like he's like the biggest like what if. Like they were literally calling him Baby Braun, and like it just doesn't it just doesn't make sense how he left the league. Like as even if like I'm a Sixers fan, I'm like yeah, you're so far past the Ben Simmons era because so much shit has happened in between that it's like you kind of forget about it. But at the same time, I just know when Sixers fans saw this, they're like, get off my fucking timeline. Like, fuck you. Like, genuinely, I swear to God, I think Sixers fans were just raging in the comments of Twitter, uh, like social media in general. When they saw that like report, they were probably like shitting their pants. And I just don't think there's any way he's gonna return to the league. Maybe it's on a G League contract or something. And it's crazy because he's still like young. I think Ben Simmons is like what 28, 29. Like he's not even that old. So it'll be interesting. Like if we go into like next year at some point and he gets signed to a team on a 10-day contract or something, I'd be surprised. Now, speaking of, you know, teams and whatnot, the Lakers, they're they're all white. Like, isn't that kind of crazy? Like, there's no like Colin Sexton, Bronny James are like the only people of color on that team. Their entire starting lineup could be all white if they wanted to. And I just think that's kind of crazy. Now, Stephen A. Smith went a little too far with it. Like he was making it all about like yes, I made it about race, but like Stephen A was literally ranting and raving and saying the Lakers are not winning a championship, which he's correct on that, but to say that purely based off because they have only white players is kind of crazy. Like the stats technically do prove him right, but at the same time, for you to use your platform to talk about that is kind of nuts to me. Like there's so many other storylines in the NBA, so many other even just the Lakers alone, there's so many other storylines. Austin Reeves being undrafted to getting $185 million. Luca finally getting the center he wants. Like I just feel like there's so many other things that's regarding the Lakers that you could talk about, and you decide to, you know, rant and rave about this for like 30 minutes. And you can't convince me that Stephen A doesn't do this just for clicks and views. Like Jaylen Brown was absolutely right. He is using his platform for things that are not related to basketball, and it's kind of sad because Stephen A. Smith is one of those guys that appears on TV so often, and like First Take is like one of the biggest NBA shows and platforms in all of sports, and for him to use his platform for that is kind of I just I just don't like it, and it sucks that he's a Knicks fan because I have to listen to him talk about the Knicks all day every day, and it seems like he's not even like a real Knicks fan. Like again, he just uses teams and agendas for clicks and views, and I don't. Uh, it is what it is. Now, some NBA news, some actual relevant NBA news, and I'm actually using my platform to speak on the game of basketball. And you know, this podcast is about basketball, and I can talk about other things too. Like it's not limited to just basketball. But I'm not using my platform to spread misinformation, false agendas, and use this for clickbait and views and, rile up fans. Like, I eventually want this to be a full time job and to speak sports and to actually, watch sports and actually get to use my platform to spread correct information and whatnot. And, it bothers me that so many podcasts out there and so many people just in general out there post on YouTube, YouTube Shorts, Instagram Reels, Instagram posts, Twitter, and try to either rage bait people or to use their platform to spread hate. And it's just like there's like no point in doing that. Like it, that can't even be fun. like to see other people angry, to spread misinformation just because you get 2 million views on it on a YouTube short. Like it just doesn't make sense to me. Like that can't be fun, right? Like if I did that, I wouldn't have fun doing that. Like yeah, it'd be fun seeing my channel grow exponentially, but at the same time, it's like at what cost, you know? Because at some point, your fandom is gonna get so big, and your platform is gonna get so big that the people who are actually the people who actually matter in this industry and whatnot are gonna see your stuff, and they're gonna be like, well, this guy clearly is using this platform for clickbaits and whatnot, and they're gonna try to cancel you, or your fans are gonna see you for who you really are, and it's just not gonna be good. So I'd rather just do it the right way, and talk about NBA and basketball and WNBA and talk about it the right way. And speaking of NBA news, finally, let's just get into the NBA news because I just went on a rant. Not a rant, but like, I just need to get that out there because I feel like a lot of people need to know. Kevon Looney, speaking of Lakers, signs with the Lakers on a 3.9 minimum contract. And out of all the backup centers, I feel like he's probably one of the better options considering who's left. It's still puzzling to me why DeAndre Ayton got, traded, but at the same time, it's probably because they just didn't like him. Like JJ Redick even said, like during games, he was like, "I just can't play him. I can't play him." And DeAndre Ayton, like he has this skill set and the body to be a really good center in the league. It's just his attitude is just really bad. And a coach like JJ Redick is not going for that. And so Kevon Looney is the quite the opposite actually. His attitude is great. Good locker room guy, good vet, won championships, really good rebounder. And while the defense may not be like, crazy good and he's not a lob threat, but like he's still a good center for Luka. He sets really good screens. Um, and so yeah, really good pickup for them. Andre Drummond signed with the Knicks. I really like this. I think that losing Mitchell Robinson sucks, and winning a championship and being so close to the second apron, we just knew that the Knicks weren't going to keep Jose Alvarado, Landry Shamet, Mitchell Robinson, and Jordan Clarkson, all four of them. And so Andre Drummond is the best, like Mitchell Robinson replacement. Like I honestly thought Robert Williams would have been the best Mitchell Robinson replacement, but we know his market was gonna be way more than a vet minimum, which is what Andre Drummond signed. And people forget that Andre Drummond isn't that old. Like he's only 32. Like he's only 2 years older than Cat. Some people think that because Andre Drummond's been playing in the league so long and he's been on a lot of different teams that he's like 35, 36. No, he's only 32, which is a little bit past his prime, but he's still one of the best rebounders in the league. And you're only asking him to play, 10 to 15 minutes when when Cat gets in foul trouble or when just Cat needs a rest. And a lot of the times Knicks can play small anyway with OG at the 5 because we've seen OG play defense against centers like Joel Embiid, and even Jokic at times. And while you're not going to do that for like more than like 2 or 3 minutes at a time in a game. It's just the Knicks have options, and having Andre Drummond is a really good option. And the defense is not nearly as good as Mitch Robinson, and Drummond is not as athletic as Mitch Robinson, but he does set good screens, and he is a good roller, and he does shoot threes. So when you can't really hack Drummond, like that just doesn't work because he also makes free throws. So that's an upgrade, for sure, and I like that signing. And I feel like Andre Drummond went to play with the Knicks ever since they lost, like to the Sixer. I mean, to the Knicks when he was a Sixer. It seemed like that was just the writing on the wall was just there from the sign of the Knicks. He was talking highly of the Knicks. He was like he knew the Sixers had no chance. when they face the Knicks. And it's just a really good signing. Kelly Oubre Jr. signs with the Pacers. Really, really good pickup. I'm actually like scared now because the Pacers have a really good wing depth and their team is like going to be really good next year. Now, they're going to be in my hot take later, but so I don't want to get too much into them. But Kelly Oubre is going to come off the bench, I would assume. I think Neesmith still starts. I think their starting lineup would be Halliburton, Nemhard, Neesmith, Siakam, Zubac. And then their bench would be Toppin, Oubre, McConnell, J. Huff, and Ben Shepherd. So they definitely got, as far as on paper, got a lot better. We'll see what Tyrese looks like at the beginning of the season. And I know by playoff time he'll be ready, so I'm not really worried about that. But yeah, really, really good signing. He has a chance to be sixth man of the year next year, for sure. And finally, Tobias Harris. Now there are a lot of other smaller moves that teams made, but I'm not gonna get into those because, like I said at the beginning, I want to get into some NBA trivia and I actually want to do that. And so, yeah. But Tobias Harris signs on the Spurs, 2 years, $31 million. The Pistons really, really crapped out by not signing him, especially for 2 year 31. I feel like they easily could have done that, but for the Spurs, really, really good signing. It was, you could see that the Spurs needed a bigger four. A lot of the times last year, Champagny was just too small, and they still made it to the finals and were within, you know, possessions of every single game in the finals. And I feel like if they had Tobias Harris, it could have easily either went their way or the series could have gone the length. It could have gone like 7 games. And Tobias Harris is one of those vets that can space the floor, plays good defense, plays big next to Wembanyama, and is another creator, which I feel like the Spurs also kind of lacked. Like outside of the three guards, nobody could really do anything like off the dribble, and so Tobias Harris can definitely do that. And yeah, Toby's good for 15 to 20 points per game, which that would boost the Spurs a lot offensively, especially in stretches where they look like they can't score and the guards can't really do much. And so him next to Wembanyama is going to be really, really good and really, really good signing by them. And yeah, that's all the really, notable players that signed with teams. Now we're going to get into teams that had an underwhelming offseason so far. Now I already mentioned them, but number one would be the Pistons. I just think that there's no way you can go into this season and not address anything, especially the way that you lost in the playoffs, the way that you looked in the playoffs, especially against the Magic in the first round when you were down 3-1 and the Magic had like legit zero offense outside of Paolo Banchero and you still went 7 games with them. And it sucks because Cade clearly needs help. And Tobias Harris was their second best player, and he was really, really good in the playoffs. He had like 5 straight games of 20 plus points, and no one else did shit. Like Jalen Duren was ass the entire playoffs, and Danish Jenkins was like up and down. Asar, you could just see he was at, like a lot of stretches in the playoffs. He was just unplayable, especially when he would get into foul trouble. And then Duncan Robinson was unplayable a lot of the postseason as well. And you just needed a second, even third creator on this team if you were going to re-sign Tobias Harris. But now, since they let Tobias Harris go, they desperately needed a creator, and they did nothing. They instead replaced him with John Collins, who does not do anything off the dribble. He's a good lob and good, player next to Cade as far as that goes, like pick and roll and whatnot. And yeah, I just don't know how they definitely got worse. They won 60 games last year, and everyone in the playoffs was saying they were the fakest 1 seed in NBA history. And a lot of that was true. And now they're not going to be the number one seed next year. Like, there's just no way in hell they're the number one seed. Like if they're the number one seed next year, the Knicks had major injuries. The Heat just don't look good at all. Like the Sixers, Joel Embiid has played 10 games. Like for the Pistons to be the number one seed, everything has to go wrong in the East. And it kind of felt like that last year. Like not everything went wrong, but like the Knicks didn't have a dominating regular season. The Celtics were a really surprising team. The Cavs had a really underwhelming regular season. And so I don't anticipate those things to happen again. But for them to go into this offseason and literally do absolutely nothing, and in fact lose players, they just traded away Karis LeVert for Torian Prince and Gary Harris. I saw, which Torian Prince is another 3 point shooter. He shot 40% from three the last like 2 or 3 years. And they did get Isaiah Joe, who also is a really good 3 point shooter. Streaky though, but still a good 3 point shooter. But yes, they needed shooting, but they also needed creation. Like on this team, you can double Cade right now, and their offense would be like shit. Like literally, if Cade does not score like 20 to 20, 25 plus, sorry, 20 is not enough on this team. If he doesn't score 25 plus, the Pistons are probably going to lose that game. And this is a team that you want to see the next steps. They made it to the second round last year. They made it a competitive first round against the Knicks the year prior. And so you want to take a step forward. You want to see the growth in this team and say that hey, this year we addressed everything we needed. We can make a conference finals run. We can even get to the NBA finals. We can compete with teams like the Knicks, the Heat, the Sixers, the Pacers. No, they took a step back, and it's just kind of crazy. Now, Jalen Duren's situation is also really weird because they're basically holding out for like they're basically saying, "Hey, we're not going to give you $40 million, so you go to see what other team has, that type of money, and we'll match it, but it's going to be less than $40 million." And no other team has money outside of the Kings. And so if he really does go to the Kings in a signing trade and they get Sabonis back, that would really suck. And their offseason as a whole just it's been really weird. Number 2, the Celtics had an underwhelming offseason. Now, this was I don't know because they also got Mitchell Robinson, which is really big for them because they needed another center. And you're not asking him to play 25, 30 minutes because Kata, you can have split those minutes between those two and you'll get good center minutes regardless throughout the entire game. They did trade Jaylen Brown, which is really questionable now. I've heard a lot of people, listen to Brad Stevens' interview and whatnot, and he tried to make sense of it, and he did for the most part because having two guys make up almost 70% of your cap just doesn't make sense in today's league, and it kind of sucks because the second apron just does that to teams. Like previously, you would have teams have two really good players, especially like for the Celtics to have two good wings in this league today is kind of crazy, and it kind of sucks that they just had to break them up. Like previous years before the second apron happened and super teams were a thing and whatnot, if you had a guy like Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown on your team, you'd be able to basically keep them for their entire careers together. We saw it with Steph and Clay. Now Clay left because not that the Warriors didn't have any money, but they just didn't want to offer him as much money as he wanted, and he did kind of decline, especially on defense. And he had like just games where his 3 point shooting was just a non-factor. The playing game against the Kings where he had 0 points, all of 10 from three or something like that, and fans were you know clowning on him for like 2 years about that game. Um, yeah, so it just kind of sucks that they had to break those two up. And yeah, what Brad Simmons was mentioning in his interview was basically, yeah, they couldn't keep those two together for another 3 to 4 years, especially when Jaylen Brown was due for another extension, which, my God, Donovan Mitchell, that extension, 4 years, $273. My goodness. $70 million a year. I was saying this to my mom yesterday because we were talking about, Kennedy Cardigan waived, which is crazy. I don't know why the Aces did that. It had to have been a locker room issue. If it wasn't a locker room issue and they just waived her just to waive her, then shame on the Aces. But yeah, we were talking about like just the players and the way they're being mistreated in the WNBA, like Skylar Diggins Smith being mistreated by the Sky, and it's just like the contracts of WNBA players versus NBA players is like 100,000 to one, and it's kind of ridiculous. And they did get a new CBA, the WNBA did, so we're gonna see more $1 million contracts come to players, and like literally Andre Drummond is making more money, twice as much money as Asia Wilson. Like, isn't that stupid? Like, isn't that dumb? And the whole narrative of like we don't watch WNBA and they don't make enough money and whatnot. I went to a Liberty game and they sold out, and I'm pretty sure every single Valkyries game sells out like crazy. And you don't really see empty WNBA arenas anymore. Uh, so I don't know why then that narrative is out there, and I don't know what they're doing with their finances and their money, but they could definitely be paying their players for sure. Anyway, getting back on track, the Celtics. Yeah. So trading Jaylen Brown was an L for them offseason. Getting back Paul George, um, and two picks. The picks are definitely what they're holding on to for sure. And they're banking on flexibility for the next 2 to 3 years when Paul George's contract is up, and they can really shape out the roster around Jason Tatum and back into contention again. And they like Paul George. He does exactly what the team their play style is, which is shoot threes and defend. He literally does that. Um, and he's not the vintage Paul George that can get you 25 to 30 a night anymore. That's just not him anymore. But if he can get you like 18 to 22 a night on good efficiency from three, and he still defends, that's pretty good. I'm not trying to like say like, you know, Paul George is gonna be this player that the Celtics were like, oh my god, thank God we traded Jaylen Brown for him. Absolutely fucking not. That's ridiculous. But if he can still provide some value and give you like some sort of anything next year, that would be good. And yeah, we're just gonna see what they do next year. Um, yeah, but trading him to the 76ers, their rival, is kind of crazy though. But I could talk about that trade for like an hour and not even have things to run out of to talk about. But we're gonna move on. I think the Hornets trading away LaMelo, getting back Naz Reid, Grayson Allen, and Royce O'Neal was pretty cool. Getting rid of Miles Bridges and LaMelo Ball. I mean, I guess they viewed them as immature players, and not like the Hornets are moving as a serious franchise now. And it's just it's not that it's not that those players aren't good that they got back. In fact, those players are a really good fit for this team and what they want to do and how they play offense. And like at least Naz Reid and Royce O'Neal can defend too. So you're bringing in defense along with this high paced offense that they're gonna be running next year. It's just that these pieces would have looked really, really good next to LaMelo. The Miles Bridges, I don't even care about. Like, he's that trade is cool. Like from the Phoenix Suns perspective, that was a L, by the way. Trading away Grayson Allen and Royce O'Neal was not good for Miles Bridges, but that it's not about them. The Hornets, this team would have looked really, really nice if they had gotten all those pieces and still had LaMelo. And it's just the fact that they took a step back on a season where they were 6 games above 500. They their starting five was like literally the best starting five in the league. Um, Second half of the season, Like if you check the numbers, their starting five was literally so dominant the second half of the season, and that's what made them even a play-in team. And so there's a world where you could look at last season and how good of a run they had, and you could still say they ended up losing in the play-in. And so the ceiling with this team is probably going to be first round exit at best. But it's the fact that you were building on something. LaMelo, he's going to be better next year for sure. And we knew that Khan had a really good, freshman season in the NBA. Rookie season. I don't know why I said freshman season. That's weird. Rookie season. And he could build off of that. And Brandon Miller is going to get better. And so you just wanted to see the growth of this team together, those core three. So losing LaMelo kind of hurts, and you now don't have a pure point guard, which Kobe White is cool, but he's not a pure point guard. He's not going to have point guard responsibilities. And so now you're banking on Khan to do more off the dribble, Brandon Miller to do off the dribble stuff, and it's just going to be a really weird transition for those guys. The Nuggets, I don't even know like what their plan is because at the beginning of the offseason and even when they lost in the playoffs, they said that a lot of moves needed to be made and this team was still too expensive, even though they still, cut corners with trying to trade MPJ, which I think they probably should have just kept MPJ at that point, and they probably would have done better in this past postseason. But like I think with MPJ, he's one of those guys where I think you should have just waited until till the last minute to like get rid of him. Like if it was really a ticking time bomb as far as how expensive this team was, you would wait till like 2 seconds, 1 second before that bomb explodes. Because MPJ is just that good, and he just had an injury in the playoffs. There's nothing you can do about that. He got injured during the playoffs. He was really good before his injury, and he had some games where he wasn't doing anything. But like the upside of MPJ is way much higher than just to trade him for Cam Johnson. And yeah, speaking of Cam Johnson, they were rumored to either get rid of him, Aaron Gordon, Jamal Murray was in trade talks. Jokic is trying to sign this extension next year. Peyton Watson's contract, what is he going to sign for? Christian Brown, that nasty ass $25 million contract just kicks in this upcoming year. And so there's a lot of question marks on their team, and they haven't addressed literally any of the question marks. In fact, they lost Tim Hardaway Jr., which he was really big for them last year off the bench, Sixth Man of the Year candidate. And so it's not that they're bad or anything. It's just their offseason has been confusing. Like, what do they actually want to do? You know? Like, I just don't know. And even like Peyton Watson is now in signing trade talks with teams and whatnot. Christian Brown, I think, should be moved personally out of all of those guys. And it's going to be really hard to find a team that wants him for that amount of money because he's not an expiring contract either. So it's not like a team like the Bulls who would definitely take on expiring contracts. They're not going to take on Christian Brown. So I don't know. Like their direction with their team is just in flux. Like I genuinely do not know what they want to do. And yeah, there's a lot of other teams that had disappointing off seasons, but those are like the four teams that stood out to me, especially with the trades or lack of trades that they made this off season. Now, I have some hot takes here, and you know, some of these are more like I think are like likely to happen based on like reputation and like history of the NBA. And so, like, my first hot take is the Pacers will be back in the Eastern Conference Finals next year. This is purely based on reputation, and I think this team got better than the team that went to the finals. Personally, I think while Zubac is not Miles Turner, he's still a really good center. And when they traded for the year they traded for him, he was on track to be. No, the year before they traded for him, he was All NBA. And while I don't think he's going to be All NBA or All-NBA candidate. I don't remember if he made third team that year, but he was like really good. All defensive votes for sure. He's still a really good center, and it's interesting to see how he plays in this play style with the Pacers, where they like to get up threes and space the floor and be a really fast team. And Zubac is slow and he doesn't shoot threes like Miles Turner, so it'll be interesting to see that. But I think he's still a better overall center than Miles Turner for sure. Kelly Oubre was a really big pickup, wing depth, and they basically kept the entire team that made the finals together and got better. So like, there's no reason to believe that they're just because Halliburton is coming off a major injury and he may not look good for the first few months of the season. We did see second half Pacers that last year when they made it to the finals. Like last year, not this past season, but the year before that, when they made it to the finals. That second half of the year, they were the number one team in like net rating and basically every stat, and they carried it all the way into the playoffs. And so I think there's no reason to believe that they can't have a run like that again. Now, I hear some people are comparing it to like the Hawks when they made the conference finals and didn't make it back. But like the Pacers, 2 years in a row, they made the East Conference Finals, and every year they got better. And last year, they caught the injury bug, so there's really nothing you could do about that. This year, they're going in fully healthy. Halliburton is, going to work his way back, and they still have Rick Carlisle, who's a really good coach. And I could name teams that I think they will be better than. I think they'll be better than the Heat. I think they'll be better. The Sixers could be a toss-up because Joel Embiid's health, but like they theoretically could be better than the Sixers. They're better than the Celtics right now, in my opinion. They're better than the Pistons. So like they could be like a top 4 or 5 seed next year, just based off like Halliburton still working his way back and the team not gelling instantly. But like them being a 4th, 5th seed going into the playoffs, that really doesn't matter for them. Like they could just go on another run, and so I just think that's possible. And number 2, I think the Celtics will be a play-in team next year. I just named teams that I think are the Pacers will be better than, and a lot of those teams, they will be better than the Celtics too. And I think the Celtics will not be at the bottom of the play-in, of course, like unless Tatum, knock on wood, is hurt for like 50 games or something. There's no reason to believe the Celtics would be like the 9th seed out east. But it's very possible that losing Jaylen Brown and losing his offense, that they could be a 7th seed next year. Like, it's entirely possible. And yeah, I don't understand why they have the Celtics as either tied for or the favorites in the East next year. Like, that just doesn't make sense. Like, you lose a Finals MVP, and like top 5 MVP player last year, and you expect them to just be better than the Knicks. Like, that just don't even make any sense. Like, the New York hate is real. Now that is one of the hotter takes that I have, because the Celtics with Jason Tatum, they could easily, be a 3 seed next year and nobody would bat an eye, because Tatum is just that good. And Tatum would have a full off season to like recover and everything like that, and to really get into game shape. But their range could be like 3rd seed to 7th seed. Like, I think at worst, the floor of this team is play-in team. The ceiling of this team is definitely like 3 or 4 seed for sure. Number 3, this one is a real hot take, like hotter than the last one. And I said that Joel Embiid will get a ring within the next 3 years. And part of this is, A, because I think he has to, or else he's just cooked. Like, I know he has like 4 more years in this contract or whatever. But for them to justify not trading him and to keep him on the roster and really say, this is our year, like, he's going to have to, deliver. And I think with this roster, I feel like we say this every year with Joel Embiid rosters, but like legit, they have no excuse to not like make a Eastern Conference Finals run this year. Like especially if Joel Embiid is gonna play. Let's say, okay, let's say Joel Embiid plays 53 games next year. That's still enough for them to be a third seed out east because we know Tyrese Maxey is gonna play a lot of time. We know VJ Edgecombe is gonna play a lot. We know Jaylen Brown is gonna play. And so the only person in question is Joel Embiid, but their starting five, if you include Dean Wade in there, is probably like second out east to the Knicks. And I just feel like, especially since those guys are going to be under contract for the next 2 or 3 years at minimum, because you're not trading Maxi, you're not trading VJ, and Jaylen Brown's contract is too huge to trade. So theoretically, those four will be together for the next 2 or 3 years minimum. And I just feel like one of those years, I'm 30. There's a 33. Wow, there's a 33% chance that Joel Embiid's healthy for one of those like runs. And if he's healthy for one of those runs with this team, I legit think that like their ceiling is like championship. So it's more like Joel Embiid has to win a championship in the next 3 years, or else the conversation about his name is gonna be really nasty, and it's just not gonna be a good look for him or the team paying those guys that much money for them to be like second round exits every year. That's just gonna be really bad. Number four, I know I talked about Oubre winning six man of the year, but that was just me talking. I think Shamit will win six man of the year next year for sure. I think he's the best bench player right now on like one of the best teams, which is probably the criteria to the exact T for six man of the year. It's either you have a really crazy year off the bench and you're averaging like 20 points per game and you're on like a mid tier team or even a bottom tier team and you're just spazzing out off the bench, kind of like Jordan Clarkson did like years ago. Or you can be like a really, really important piece off the bench that still can give you like 13 to 15 points per game, but your impact is felt and your team is like number one, number two in their conference, which the Knicks will be. And so there's a really good chance Shamit, we see more of him play off the bench next year. And because last year he didn't really play that much off the bench. Like he had his moments during the regular season, and it's unfortunate because he had that one injury to his shoulder that took him out for like 2 months, and he just never really got back into the groove until like the playoffs came around, and he's just reliable as they come. And so for him to have a full regular season next year, hopefully, there's just no reason to believe that his impact won't be felt, and he couldn't win six man of the year. At number five, I had the Mavericks making the playoffs next year. I think with Kyrie, Cooper Flag, and then Derek Lively and Gafford being healthy next year, and PJ Washington. And I just think that they could be like a 7, 6 seed next year, especially since Cooper Flag is that damn good. And you have Kyrie back, who will make life so much easier for him. And we don't know what Kyrie's going to look like next year, obviously. But I think there are teams like the Suns that will take a step back. I think the Mavericks could potentially be better than them. I think they could be better um, than just a lot of teams that had really good years last year. And finally, at number six, I had Scotty Barnes being the best player in the Raptors next year. I think with his playmaking, his defense, he's just going to be overall better than Kawhi. Um, Kawhi's going to be the better scorer. And when it comes to crunch time and closing games and series, Kawhi is going to be the option for sure. Kawhi is like the 1A in terms of like closing the game. But Scotty next year could be in MVP talks next year for sure. And the growth of him like being a facilitator, getting other guys involved, making teammates around him better, and having Kawhi next to him to alleviate the scoring like load on him so he can actually focus on locking down on defense. And when it's time for him to, score 20, he definitely can. And overall, I just think he'll be better than like everybody on the team. Like Kawhi, I think is the better scorer than Scotty, obviously. But I feel like when you're saying best player, like you're taking to like every facet of their game. And I think the fact that Kawhi being 35 next year will also play a part. But I think execs, GMs, coaches, when it comes down to All Star, All NBA voting, Scotty Barnes will for sure be on third team, maybe even second team. Kawhi also has that chance too. They could both be there, and right now they're like probably the best duo in the league as far as like defensively wise, for sure. But if the Raptors had to prioritize one player over the other, they're 100 times over prioritizing Scotty Barnes. Oh wait, I had one more. The Heat will have a better defense than the Spurs and the Thunder next year. I think with Giannis and Bam, that front court is going to be just nasty defensively. Bam is the most versatile defender there is in the game, and then Giannis as a help defense is the best. And just the size and the length of those two covering the paint, and Bam can even switch onto the perimeter if needed, which probably won't be needed because you still have guys like Davion Mitchell and Andrew Wiggins who are also A tier, even S tier defenders. And so those four guys in a culture with the Heat where they rely on defense heavily. And last year it was surprising because their offense at one point was number one in the league and then it regressed. But them being better than the Spurs could be definitely possible. I mean, Wembanyama alone is going to be carrying the Spurs defense to like top five. Like, that's just without a doubt. And the Thunder, they just have a lot of good defenders around their team, like Caruso, Casey Wallace. Shea's no slouch on defense. Chet is a really, really good defender, especially rim protection. Hardenstein as well. So it's not out of the realm possibility for those two teams to still have a better defense than the Heat, but like the Heat's upside on defense will be like so great, and it's just like imagine you're Jalen Brunson, right, and going against the Heat, and you have to get hounded by Davion Mitchell all game, and then even if you get Davion Mitchell in foul trouble, now it's Andrew Wiggins. And then even if you get past those guys, it's like Giannis and Bam waiting for you in the paint. It's kind of like the Spurs. Like Castle's gonna be hounding you, Dylan Harper's gonna be hounding you, Champagne's gonna be hounding you all game. You get into foul trouble, then you break those guys down, and then you still have to meet Wembanyama in the paint. And it's like, what do you do? It's like the same thing with the Heat. But as you all know, that's a really bad example because Jalen Brunson bust their ass and scored 40 points, 45 actually to be exact, on a broken wrist. So I have no questions about Jalen Brunson, but I'm just talking about like best player having to go up against all those guys on defense. And Eric Spoelstra is such a good coach, and he likes to throw out zone too a lot. So it'll be a zone with Giannis and Bam is gonna be really just because they take up so much space on the court. Like once you get 2 feet in the paint, it's like you either have to have a really high floater game or you're just not getting shit off. And yeah, those are my hot takes. Let me know what you think. Now it's time to get into some NBA trivia. Now, first I have to pull up the games because I think I was gonna redo one of them. I think, or not. I don't know. NBA trivia. No, I think I'm still gonna do the two that I had scheduled for this episode. Now, if you're on audio platforms, definitely tune in to the YouTube channel because you want to see the visuals on this stuff. Like, I'm still gonna be talking through it, of course, but like it's just gonna be different. Like, getting into it. Okay. So we have NBA top 25. Well, I can't read. Players who average 25 points per game after their 10th season, in or after their 10th season. So this will be easy right off the bat because first I'm going to put LeBron James or James. Yep, there we go. Oh, it counts all of their seasons. Okay, I didn't know that. Wait, LeBron averaged 30 points per game when in his 19th season? There's no... Okay, I'm wasting time. What the heck? Okay, Durant. Curry. Who else averaged 25 in their 10th? Lillard. Antetokounmpo. Embiid. No, Embiid hasn't played for 10 seasons. Who's drafted? Oh, Kawhi Leonard. Paul George. No. After their 10th season. So 10 seasons from now would be 2016. 2015. Who was drafted in 2015? Wait, Griffin. Not Griffin. 2012, 2013 with the Lakers. That would be Kobe Bryant. Thank you very much. Utah, would that be Malone? Yes. 13th, Chicago, would that would probably be Jordan. Duh. The Bullets, I have no idea, but it could be... No. Bird. Johnson. No. Abdul Jabbar. There we go. 2019, 2020. Oh, that would be James Harden. 2021, 2022. That would be DeRozan. I forgot he did that. Denver, I don't know. But I could just put Thompson in there. No. Oh, Davis. Anthony Davis, yeah. 2008, 2009, 11th season. Would that be Nowitzki? I don't know what year he was drafted. Yeah, that would be him. Wait, 20. Oh, Westbrook. I forgot Westbrook averaged 27 with the Rockets. Brooklyn, Dallas, Irving. Okay, that's good. Let's see. Houston, 19. Would that be Elijah one? Okay. Would Jokic count? Yes. Okay, 24. Oh, that would be Booker. 2006, 2007, Philly, Denver. That would be Iverson. I can't spell Iverson. 1969, 1970, Cincinnati. I'm not gonna get that. Just gonna try to get the ones I probably should get. Atlanta Clippers. Oh, would that be... Shit. Elton Brand? No. Atlanta Clippers. I feel like I should know that one. Seattle. 2000. Oh, would that be Gary Payton? No. Ray Allen? Yes. Oh, because Ray Allen was drafted in the same draft as Kobe, I think, right? Yeah, that makes sense. All right, these 1960 ones, I'm just not gonna get. Like, there's just no way. I feel like I got. Oh wait, 2001, 2002. Would that be O'Neal? There we go. Couldn't get past that one. If that got past me, I would have been sad. Okay, 43 seconds to guess. Okay, but considering all these are like 60s and whatnot, I feel like that's a good round for sure. 86, 87 Nuggets. Like how am I oh, wait. Brown. Almost forgot Jaylen Brown. Holy shit. Wait. Anthony. Duh. I'm missing a lot of these. How am I still missing these? Okay. Now I got all those out the way. Right? Yeah, yeah. And Dominic Wilkins. George Gervin. Yes. Alex English. I could have gotten that. I know who Alex English is. I should have just threw out Elgin Baylor just for the shits and giggles of it. Bernard King, probably not. I didn't know he played for the Bullets. Orlando Woolridge, no. Oscar Robinson, no. I didn't know he played for Cincinnati, whatever team that was. Bob Pettit, no. Havlicek, maybe, but I always forget how to spell his name, so there's that. Okay. Next one. Next quiz. Oh, it's like the same kind of quiz, I think. But it should be easier, I think. Maybe? We'll see. Okay, this is last 5 25 point per game players by team. So it's a little different. So Atlanta, we can get this. Trae Young. 2006, 2007, would that be Joe Johnson? Yes. Okay. Boston, that'd be Tatum, Brown. Brooklyn, that would be Irving. Durant, I didn't want to do. 2006, 2007, that would be Jefferson. No. Carter. Yes. Charlotte, that would be Walker. 96, 97. Who was Kobe traded for in draft? Would that technically be Kobe? No. Chicago. We already did this. DeRozan. Levine. Butler. Rose. Jordan. Cleveland. That would be Mitchell. Oh, so the last. Wait, so Donovan Mitchell didn't average 25 the last 2 years? Because why is the last season on here 2022, 2023? That just don't make sense. Anyway, LeBron James. Dallas would be Luka Doncic, which I don't know why they traded him. Denver, Jokic. Murray. Detroit's Cade Cunningham. Phillips. Iverson. Dumars. Wallace. Who's on the Pistons? Thomas. No? Are you kidding me? Okay, I don't know who those guys are then. 2000, 2001 Pistons. Like genuinely who played for the Pistons in 2000, 2001? I don't even know. Golden State would obviously be Curry. Houston would be Harden and Westbrook. Indiana 2008, 2009, 25.8 points per game. Miller? Has to be, right? No. Who on the Pacers averaged 25.8 in 2008, 2009? I don't know. I don't know who was on the Pacers that year. Because Miller should have been gone by then, right? What the fuck? Clippers, Leonard. Oh, I just saw this. Wilkins. No. Okay. Elton Brand. No. Don't know who was on the Clippers. Lakers, 2019, 2020. Davis. Memphis, Morant. All right, if I can get 100, at least 100 minimum. Okay, you got this. Miami 2010, 2011, Wade. Milwaukee on Antetokounmpo. Damn, that's all of them. Okay, Minnesota, Edwards, Towns, Love. There we go. Damn, Kevin Love averaged 26 points per game in 2013, 2014. Chat, why did I just say chat? I am not streaming. What the heck? That's crazy. Pelicans, that would be Williamson. 2017, 2018, that would be Cousins. New York, 24, 25 would be Brunson. And then 22, 23, Randall. 2013, 2014, Anthony. Carmelo Anthony. Jalen Brunson. Okay. Oklahoma City. Hopefully it'll give me no. I just have to type out Gilgeous Alexander. There we go. Orlando O'Neal. 2003, 2004 Howard maybe? No. 2002, 2003. Who was their point guard? Oh, McGrady. I'm dumb. How do you spell that? There we go. I'm stupid. Philadelphia, Embiid, Maxey, Phoenix, Booker, Portland, Lillard, Sacramento, Fox, San Antonio, Wembanyama, 2001, 2000. I'm just gonna put Gervin in there. No. Parker, Robinson, 2001, 2002. Who was averaging 25.5 points per game? It wasn't Duncan, was it? Oh, okay. I never thought Duncan got to like 25. I thought his like career high average would be like 23 or something like that. Utah, that would be Markkanen. And 19 Malone. Washington, Beal. Arenas. There we go. So I have 10 names left. Who am I missing? Indiana that year. Charlotte. Could be Morning. No. Rice. There we go. Pistons. For the love of God, I don't think I could get that one. I tried Chauncey Billups. I tried Ben Wallace, Rasheed Wallace, whatever those two. I don't know what center they had, though. Like, what center did they have? Like, I don't know. And the Clippers, I don't even know. Like, I'm trying to talk through it. Indiana, 2008, 2009. Paul George was drafted in 2012, 2011. 2008, 2009, that was the year the Lakers won that first, and they won 2009, 2010. So they went back to back. 2008, 2009, they played the Magic. The Magic played the Pacers, probably in the Eastern Conference Finals, I would imagine, or something like that. And there's no way I'm getting 76, 77 Pacers. Like, who? I think I'm just going to have to. Danny Granger. Shit. That's definitely a name I could have gotten to. Jerry Stackhouse. Grant Hill. Definitely could have gotten. World Be Free. I've seen him on fucking 82-0 all the time. Okay, so Grant Hill and Danny Granger absolutely could have gotten. The rest, definitely not. Trapuka. I don't even know who that is. Bob Lanier, I know that name. Bob McAdoo, know the name, but never watched them play. Danny Granger, I absolutely could have gotten. I don't know why I didn't think of Danny Granger. Yeah. Okay. Now, y'all know what time it is. It's 82 and 0 time. 82 and 0. 5 tries. Actually, yeah, 5 tries. And we're going to see if we can actually do this time. I've gotten 80 and 2. That's as far as I've gotten. Give me a good spin this time, please. Sacramento 2010s. Anytime I get Sacramento, I just respin. Team. Denver. Okay, I'll take Melo at the 3. That's a good start. Okay, Memphis. I guess I'll have to take Marc Gasol because I'm not taking anybody else. See, Memphis, Sacramento are teams that you just want to stay away from if you're trying to go to 82 and 0. I'm going to just restart because there's no way. New York Knicks 90s. I'll take Patrick Ewing at the center position. Milwaukee 80s. I can get Giannis or I can get Kareem. I'm a respin era. Giannis or Kareem. Nothing in between. Are you kidding me? Kareem played in the 70s, bro. Are you shitting me right now? Oh my god. Flynn Robinson, sure. Point guard. This team is going to go 55 and 27. Jesus Christ. Team. Yeah, this has got to be the worst team of all time. This is legit got to be the worst fucking team of all time. Holy shit. Denver. Melo. This team won 62 games somehow. I don't know how that happened. Genuinely do not know how that happened. Okay, let's try number 1. Try number 2. Okay. Miami 80s. Should I respin team? I should probably respin team. Unless I try to get, like, Braun. Fuck it. Let's try to get Braun. Shit. Okay, Alonzo Mourning, welcome to center. This team is winning 70 games probably. OKC 20s, I'll take Shea. San Antonio 90s, I will take Tim Duncan. Why not? That's a good start. Detroit 2000s, I will take Grant Hill at the 3. At the 2, give me someone good and we're good. Will it be free or should I try to spin for Steph? No, I can't spin for Steph. That would be team. Or could I try to spin for Jordan? Either World Be Free or Jordan. I'm taking the chance on Jordan. I'm sorry. Come on, Jordan. Portland 80s. Okay, Clyde Drexler is not a bad option. This team probably won 75 games, 69 wins. Cool. Okay, try number 2. Toronto 10s. I will take Kawhi Leonard. Okay. Boston 10s. I'll take Kyrie. I'll put Kyrie at the 2 for now. Denver. I will take Melo. Okay, this is a really good start, actually. Might not win 82 games, but might win 80. Shea. If we get a good center. Utah 70s. Okay, they had no centers. They had centers that were ass. Okay. So we can either try to get Karl Malone first, or we can try to... Well, it doesn't matter. We'll do Era first. Okay. Team. Memphis. Shit. Do I go Zach Randolph or Marc Gasol? I guess I gotta go best. 63 wins. Shea, Kyrie, Kawhi, Carmelo. Those four alone should get you more than 63 wins. Are you shitting me right now? That would be better than Golden State teams. Like, come on now. Okay, try number 3. Miami 2020s. Team. Clippers. Okay, I can still get Kawhi, I guess. Utah 80s. Okay, Malone. Why not? Welcome to power forward. Miami 80s. Why does it keep giving me Miami? Give me Braun. Fucking hell. Bam. Welcome to center. Bro, this is so... Literally Miami... Like, there's actually no way it gave me Miami 4 times in a row. Oh my shooting guard, I'll go Butler. This team is gonna win 60 games. Wow. I'll go Gary Payton. Try number 4. You know what? Fuck it. I'm not gonna give myself 5 tries. I'm gonna. Nah, I am because I don't want it. Pacers. Give me Tyrese Halliburton. Thank you very much. New York Knicks 2000s. I will take Al Harrington at power forward. Boston 90s. I'll take Bird. This team loves Bird. I mean, this game loves Bird. Wilt. Why is this the team I get Wilt on, though? Lakers. Kobe. $78-4. If I had literally just had probably anybody but Al Harrington, I probably would have gotten... Okay. One more try. OKC 80s. I'm a respin. Should I respin era or team? Era or team? Let's think about it. I can get Shea or Kevin Durant, or I can get Michael Jordan or Isaiah Thomas, or... No, we'll spin era. Shit, that was not the move. Okay, Walt Hazard, welcome to point guard. I don't even know who that is. Orlando 20s. Fuck. Paolo Banchero, sure. This team is going to win 55 games. Moses Malone. Phoenix 90s. Barkley. Shooting guard. Orlando. Vince Carter. 60 games for this team. Oh my god. Alright, so I got 78-4. That's probably the best run I'm going to do. But yeah, I'm going to end the episode here. I know one of these times, one of these episodes, I will do this. And I will get 82-0. I can promise you. I don't want to put money on it because I'm not that dumb. But 78-4, that was really close though. I feel like if I had one more piece, I could have even gotten to like 81 wins. If I got 81 and 1, I would just not done this anymore, low key. But anyway, yeah, ending the episode here. See y'all in the next episode. Peace.